the story for months. From a personal perspective, Michael Cohen had hoped that by suddenly deciding to cooperate, that he was going to get no or minimal prison time. 3 years might not be the full extent of what he could have received, but 3 years in federal prison, it's a long time.
Absolutely. For a man who was hoping to get no jail time, 36 months away from his family, away from the world that he operates in, obviously is very, very significant, and it's going to be a huge gut punch for Michael Cohen. The argument that his lawyers had tried to make had to do with the cooperation that he has given to investigators. There was also obviously the personal angle of not wanting to inflict more pain on Cohen and his family, and then just the argument that we saw unfold just this morning inside the courtroom, which was that he was essentially this victim who fell prey to President Trump and his ways, the fact that he was sort of persuaded by this powerful person to do these things, including lie. Those things ultimately ended up not helping him avoid the jail time, obviously. This was the argument, though, that his legal team was trying to make, that if you take in the whole picture everything that Michael Cohen has done since he decided to cooperate with investigators, that should give him a good amount of leniency. I think that if you were to ask Michael Cohen, I'm willing to bet that he doesn't see 3 years as getting a lot of leniency. The 3 years obviously down from the 5 years plus some months that he could have gotten. And again, I go back to the argument that SDNY investigators made just last week, and we saw their sentencing memo. They said just because you suddenly decide to plead guilty does not make you a hero. So even though from Michael Cohen's perspective, he may have thought, I'm doing everything right now by cooperating, by helping investigators get to the truth, and telling the truth about my former boss, that doesn't suddenly make these things go away. And I know that Sarah was noting earlier that there were a number of counts that he pleaded guilty to that actually had nothing to do with the president. Even though we're very focused on how the president may be potentially implicated in some of these things that have gotten Michael Cohen in trouble, there were also other aspects of this that simply just had to do with Michael Cohen's business life that had gotten him in trouble. And it's clear from this judge's sentencing that those things are not just going to suddenly go away just because Michael Cohen decided toward the end that he kind of had no choice but to cooperate with investigators and start talking.
It's an important point. Two tracks essentially here. Michael Cohen's personal crimes and the crimes that Michael Cohen committed that he says, and the Southern District of New York prosecutors agree, the special counsel's office agrees, in some coordination with the White House or then candidate, businessman, now President Donald Trump. You're watching the scene outside the courthouse in New York. We expect Michael Cohen to come out. Will he speak? We don't know the answer to that question. But to the point, I want to bring Shimon Prokupecz back into the conversation for the color. And to the point MJ Lee was